What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Pinfalls and Playbooks podcast, episode number 5. As always, I'm your host, Faiz Kabir, alongside my co-host, Farden Khan. We are on the road to SummerSlam. We have training camps underway in the NFL, and as always, we have MLB going on, and then we're going to have some UFC stuff to talk about this week's episode. But last week, we started with wrestling. This week, we're going to start with sports. So first, we're going to start off with the MLB recap. I'll let Farden head off with the MLB recaps.
Obviously, I'm going to reiterate, I'm a Yankees fan. And last week was very tough for us. We lost, 2 out of 3 to Blue Jays. Yeah. It was an embarrassing series against the Blue Jays. Let me just say that first. The infield was extremely bad. They had so many errors. Cody Bellinger went back for a routine fly ball, looked up. Apparently the ball was on the other side for some strange reason, so he misplayed that.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
The pitcher, Max Fried, has been dealing with like a blister on his hand. I'm not exactly sure what the full prognosis is. He's scheduled to pitch, I think, in the next series against the Rays.
The Rays, right?
But we saw a video of his hand. He was bleeding on the bottom. I'm not sure exactly, but blisters can be very serious for a pitcher.
It's a pitcher, yeah.
But the errors, they've just been killing the Yankees.
Yeah.
The bats have been there. It's just their pitching has been really trash. The bullpen needs a massive upgrade in the trade deadline. I'm not sure who they should get, but they definitely need to look at some people.
Well, they made some trades, so let's talk about those.
Yeah. So first trade that they made was they traded for Ryan McMahon from the Colorado Rockies. They basically saved him from purgatory because the Rockies are one of the worst teams of all time, to be honest.
Really?
With you. Yeah. They actually have they definitely won some games recently, but to start out the season, I think they went 9-50.
Oh, jeez.
And they're projected to lose 137.
Are they worse than that White Sox team
from last year? They originally, yes, but then they started winning some games. And here's the thing: the Rockies, they've always had people that can hit. Obviously, when you play in Denver, you have home field advantage.
Yeah.
But Ryan McMahon, he was a solid player for them. He was a Gold Glover. He was an All-Star. The only thing that he's questionable about is his capabilities when it comes to strikeouts.
Got it.
But he compensates for it because of the power that he has. But that was one of the first moves that they made to bolster their infield. Another move that they just made was they traded for Ahmed Rosario.
Yep.
Now the thing is, what we dreaded is the fact that Aaron Judge is going to the IL. He's going to be on the IL for 10 days or so.
Let's see if hopefully it's only that long.
He has a flexor strain on his elbow. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to require UCL surgery or Tommy John surgery.
Right.
But he's going to miss some games. Obviously, the Yankees, they're going to be fighting for a wild card spot. Mm-hmm. But granted, I don't think – listen, man, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think they're going to even make the wild card at this rate.
Really?
They're obviously, Judge going out, that means there's going to be a lack of power on the team.
So about Stanton?
Well, they're talking about putting Stanton into the outfield, but bro, he's 35 years old, 36 years old. He's a walking hamstring. God forbid he ran for a routine fly ball. He's gonna be out after 2 innings.
Yeah,
I don't think that should be a consideration. Obviously, when Judge comes back, he's gonna have to DH because of his throwing arm. Mm-hmm. It happened on his throwing arm. One thing is happening on the left hand, but on the throwing arm, it's a little difficult. So the Yankees need to bolster their bullpen. They need to get some pieces back. Fernando Cruz is out.
Yep.
Mark Leiter is out. They need some back-end help. Devin Williams, as much as we, berated him at the beginning of the season, he's definitely showed out.
Yeah.
He's definitely went back to his old form. But
But the
bullpen's been just extremely trash. I just don't think, I don't know. They're not going to go anywhere if they keep blowing games. And the starting pitching, to be honest with you, hasn't really been that inconsistent. In the first 81 games of the season, they had a 3.2-ish ERA. Okay. Bro, in the last, I think, 30 games or so, they had 100 games now. So the last 25 games or so, bro, they had almost a 6 ERA.
Yeah.
And the bullpen's been trash. They've been really good to start off the season, but obviously missing some pieces definitely affected them in a way where they give up runs. Luke Weaver's been trash. He's given up mad home runs. I don't know. It's just the Yankees.
It's the same thing. We just got to see how it goes.
It's like a full circle. It's we're going to start off the season strong, then we're going to deal with some injuries, and then we're going to struggle, and we're here at this point. Usually when it comes to here, they start picking it up, and at this point, I kind of just don't see them picking it up.
And the thing is, what I realized with the Yankees is, they go through these cycles every year.
Yeah.
And the question is, the Yankees keep doing moves to make fans happy by doing these trades.
But they're not doing the moves that fans want. First of all, fans wanted Eugenio Suarez. We didn't get it. But granted, they would have had to give up some decent pieces to get him.
Is it worth it?
That's the thing. Is it worth it? I don't think so.
Yeah.
they were, like I said on our first episode, that they should have gotten Corbin Burns, but Corbin Burns went out for the season. They did get Max Fried. Obviously, Garrett Cole's not there; he's out for the year. But Hal Steinbrenner, man, in my opinion, I think he's one of the worst owner, and Brian Cashman is a pussy himself too. When you have two individuals that don't, I guess, see the bigger picture, and they just compensating for the now versus the later, it's not a really like good deal for them. They're young players, haven't really produced, and the next best thing is to just go after well-established players. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Okay. But that's it for the MLB recap. Obviously, there wasn't really much. I'm going to get to something that happened throughout the week during my best thing I saw this week, but I'm going to save that for later. We're going to move on to the NFL now. Obviously, training camp's underway.
So training camps are underway. A lot of teams have been looking good. We've been having some injuries. This always happens every year where some players, they're trying to get back into shape. Sometimes they pull a little something, or just technique they got to get tightened up real quick. I want to talk specifically about the Patriots. Their training camp players have been looking good. Drake May has been looking promising as always. Again,
I heard there's been some like controversies with like who's going to be like the wide receivers and stuff like that.
So with the wide receiver core in the Patriots, we have Stephon Diggs, who is going to be the number one. That's no matter what. But there's a little battle between a lot of receivers, which I like, because at least Vrabel is letting these guys battle it out. Who's going to be a wide receiver 2? Who's going to be a wide receiver 3? We still have Demario Douglas. We have a lot.
Kayshon
Boutte. Like, there's a lot of good pieces that we can use. They're young, which I like, because the Patriots, they never really had a young wide receiving core. Either they grab people that are very old or very like mediocre.
Right.
But I think these guys definitely have potential. Then we have we have the running back, Trayvon Henderson. He's a very good piece. I think he's going to be able to.
Ramondre's still on the team.
Ramondre's still on the team, so that's going to be a really good duo that they can do. Ramondre can be your powerful back. Trayvon can be your little elusive back, which would be great. Overall, in general, the Patriots look good, and I know you want to quickly touch on the Jets. Let's talk about them. We do want to give props to the Jets, because this is the first thing media-wise we've heard in a long time with the Jets. So I guess you could talk about that.
Yeah, so obviously the off-season noise has been very quiet from the Jets camp. That's, in my opinion, a really good thing, because when you drown out all the noise, especially the debacle that was the Aaron Rodgers experiment, it's a good thing for the team to compartmentalize, to get their mental emotions checked, and just focus on the season without any like crazy drama or any diva-like aspects to the team or whatever. But the main thing that happened this past week was Justin Fields getting hurt. Now, I was watching Get Up on ESPN in the morning, like around 9:45, and then I hear Mike Greenberg, who's a massive Jet fan, he was like, I have some unfortunate news to break regarding the Jets. I'm like, oh shit, what just happened? And then we see breaking news, Justin Fields has been carted off the field for injury. Now, when he said that, I just was like, yo, we can't have anything nice. You know what I'm saying? Like,
when I saw that, I was just like, dude, the Jets are going to keep doing the Jets. Like, what's going on?
It's like we know that we've been cursed, but like not like this. You know? But the rumors were that he suffered a toe injury. That's not going to keep him, I guess, sidelined for the season or anything like that. He's probably going to miss some practice time during the training camp or whatever, but he should be ready to go for week 1. Obviously, the main thing would have been what would have happened if it was. We're going to have to rely on Tyrod Taylor, which wasn't going to be a good thing. But he's been back, and so far they've been looking, I guess, good. You know, I'm not going to say great because it's still the Jets. But, you know, I'm hoping that the team shows out. The defense needs to definitely step up, and then we'll talk about it as the NFL season goes around. Next thing we want to talk about, quickly want to touch about, is all this nonsense for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not going to be honest.
Nonsense for the Dallas Cowboys.
Like Dak Prescott was talking about his legacy. I'm like, bro, what really is your legacy? You know what I mean?
I don't know, man.
Their offensive lineman was like, "Yo, we're gonna win the Super Bowl this year."
They do this every year.
It's like the Yankees. The Yankees and the Cowboys are like intertwined in the sense that, like, yo, they do a lot of offseason.
You know what's crazy? I realize a lot of Yankee fans also are Cowboy fans too. I've seen it.
That's very true. I know plenty Yankee Cowboy.
I've seen it.
Like, but the thing is, I don't know. Everything rides on Dak Prescott. If he stays healthy, the team's gonna go.
Well, somebody's got to get CeeDee the ball.
And George Pickens too.
And George Pickens, where he's coming off the Pittsburgh Steelers, where they didn't want him anymore because of his behavioral issues, whatever the case may be.
Where would you rank CD and George in terms of wide receiver tandem?
They're a top 5.
top 5.
I think they're a top 5 wide receiver tandem. They're really good, man. I think George Pickens is going to look better on this team.
I agree.
Especially with CD out there. You know CD's going to get the double team. When he gets the double team, it's George Pickens. He's able to get that ball. You know, we all both know we can make crazy catches and all that stuff. But
I've seen them.
But I think he's actually a player that has really good route running, can get into space, and when he gets into space, he has that extra boost to get to that touchdown. So I think George Pickens will benefit from this. But like you said, it all depends on Dak Prescott.
Also depends on the running game, bro. They don't really have a great
that running game went. Honestly, that running game went to shit when Ezekiel Elliott left. Like that went down.
Yeah.
Because after that, I can't really think of anyone that was like a solid running back for them.
Dude, they had DeMarco Murray for.
That's before that. I'm talking about Ezekiel
within the
Elliott.
Last few years,
within the last few years.
Like Rico Dowdle's okay. They had Tony Pollard for a little bit, but then he signed with the Titans.
Yeah, so like they had decent running backs that people thought they had potential, but Pollard left.
I think where Jerry Jones messed up was not signing Derrick Henry last.
Oh yeah, that would have changed the game, but that was last year's conversation where a lot of Cowboys fans hated that he didn't make that move because I think it was kind of obvious that Henry was open to come. No, but I think it was obvious that Henry was open to coming to Dallas too.
And he would have taken a veteran in the middle of the cup.
Exactly.
It's just he didn't want to pay him.
No. So that's their mistake. But also, lastly, I want to touch on is Rodgers at Pittsburgh camp. He's finally back in camp.
He threw a pick 6 on his first attempt pass to DK Metcalf.
If we're talking about throwing at first attempt, we can also talk about Jackson Dart. New York Giants. Dart, yeah. He threw a pick.
He threw a pick 6 on his first.
That wasn't great for the Giants fans. I was like, oh crap. I was like, here we go again.
But this guy Malik Neighbors, if you're gonna pick him up on fantasy, you're gonna be blessed. He's gonna have like 400 targets.
Yeah.
He's gonna have like 1,600 yards. Probably a concussion, definitely, because they have nobody else on the team.
Exactly. So, well, Malik Neighbors, if he's there available as your wide receiver 1 or 2, you take.
You gotta take him.
Yeah, and then the big thing we're seeing that's coming up is a Hall of Fame game that's coming up, and then after that,
weekend, right?
Next weekend, then we have the preseason games, and then finally we get the show started with Week 1, which I'm really excited for. Week 1's gonna be great. We're gonna for the Jets. You have the Jets and the Steelers,
which is going to be a spicy game because Aaron Rodgers coming back to MetLife Stadium.
That's going to be a big story.
Week
that game.
1, yeah.
So I'm excited for that game to see what plays out for that.
Patriots playing Week 1?
I believe that they're playing the Dolphins.
In Miami or in Foxborough?
I think it's in Miami.
Oh, it's in Miami. Okay.
So I think that we're excited to see.
It's going to be a true test for their defense to see if they could stop Tua, Jalen, and Tyreek.
Yeah, and we're going to see that new defense at work. So I'm excited to see that. And I trust Vrabel with defense.
Oh, yeah?
I'm not afraid, but let's see how it goes. As always, we're going to continue with the NFL as the weeks go on. We're just pushing towards Week 1.
Yeah.
Next, we'll quickly touch on UFC. So
there's been some new fights announced for October. We got Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev 2, which is in Vegas. And the co-main event is Merab Dvalishvili and Corey Sandhagen. I just think my early predictions is if Pereira can, one of two things got to happen. He's got to prevent Magomed from taking him down, which is ironically not hard to do or not easy to do. Right. It's kind of in between. Like, in my opinion, he barely took him down in the first fight and he still won. Like, it makes no sense to me. But I don't know. That's the first thing. And the second thing is Pereira barely threw hands with him. The first fight.
But it makes it interesting because that's the one thing I don't get is we saw from previous fights Pereira's not afraid to throw hands.
Right.
He was afraid to throw against Ankalaev.
He was scared to get taken down.
But also the difference is Ankalaev actually has hands.
Yeah.
We saw it. He was hitting shots with Pereira. So one thing I gotta see is we all know how much the Dagestanis train. Yeah. We know how much they've been training. I'm pretty sure Ankalaev's been training ever since that first fight ended because he knew that the rematch was coming, and we know that Pereira wanted it. I don't know what's going on with Pereira.
The good thing is Pereira wanted to take some time off. To, I guess recuperate
because of how much he fought last year.
He fought last year like 4 times.
Yeah.
I think this fight happened in March, and it was a solid 7 months. Mm-hmm. Give him some time to heal.
Yeah.
Get his endurance back. I think he'll be fine. Second fight is Merab and Sandhagen. I think Merab's probably just
Merab's gonna run through that division. Yeah. No one's gonna beat him.
I don't think so.
Dvalishvili is so freaking good. I think he's literally the second best fighter in the UFC right now, behind Islam. I think it's Islam, and then I think it's Dvalishvili, pound for pound. And those two guys, they're just on another level. And then we can touch on what they touched UFC 321, which is the return of Cyril Gane versus now the undisputed champion, Tom Aspinall.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a very interesting fight.
Listen, I'm going to be frank and say if Cyril gone, obviously UFC is if you can land your punches, you're most likely going to win.
Yeah.
But in the heavyweight division, we expect knockouts. We expect like flying hands, you know. But if Cyril Gane can get like some type of flow going against Aspinall, I think he could beat him.
And the thing is, people always say, like they always say this about Cyril Gane, like he is a heavyweight, but he moves like a light heavyweight.
Yeah.
Because of the way his fighting stances are and everything. One thing that's very interesting to know about Tom Aspinall, none of his fights are ever long.
No.
He finishes everybody.
Yeah.
And Tom Aspinall, I think he's going to finish Cyril Gane because Cyril Gane, the last time we seen him, he got choked out by John Jones, man. And what the hell?
He definitely fought after
I know
that.
he did, but like we're talking about the main thing that we remember Cyril Gane for recently. It's just you lost to John Jones.
But it's John Jones.
Right, but like the way it happened from an outsider's perspective, he got into a little chokehold that I remember the commentators didn't even know what happened.
Oh, yeah,
like,
he's tapping.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
The match is over? Cyril Gane just tapped just like that? So my thing is, if Gane is going to win this title and try to beat Tom Aspinall, who's on a roll, and he is the best, well, obviously he is the best heavyweight right now, but Tom Aspinall's hungry. He's been training for John Jones, wasn't able to get that John Jones fight because he retired. I think he's going to dog walk Cyril Gane, to be honest, because I don't think Cyril Gane is the capability to be on the Tom Aspinall level. We thought he was able to, but I don't really think so. So I think let's see this 321. It's going to be a good fight. In Abu Dhabi,
yeah,
which is
we actually have 2 big cards in October,
yeah,
which ultimately is going to lead to our card here at MSG.
Which we don't know yet, but I think
my prediction is Islam and JDM.
Yeah,
but we don't have a fight card announced in September. That's the thing.
Yeah, we don't know. So
yeah,
but
could be Volk, could be a whole bunch of other people.
It could be a lot of people.
Welterweight. Oh well, welterweight is JDM.
Yeah,
middleweight is in August.
Yeah,
Drickus and Kamzat.
Yeah. But I think that's going to be. I don't think we're going to have any more middle fights at the end of the year. I think it's going to be Kamzat and Drickus. We talked about that last week, I think. So we know. I think you thought. I think we both picked Drickus for now.
Yeah.
So just because of how active he's been and what he has been doing in the octagon. But yeah, that's the UFC news, and that's pretty much the news for sports this week. As always, we're going to cover it no matter what is happening. But it's not a very eventful sports week because we're just leading up to the dog days.
We're in the dog days of summer right now, so
it's just baseball. To be honest,
we have UFC obviously throughout the month. You know,
right.
We had Robert Whittaker. He lost yesterday.
He did lose. Yeah, Robert Whittaker lost.
But UFC is consistent throughout the months. As we get to the bigger fights, we'll talk about it more.
No NBA news this week. It's been really quiet.
Yeah.
These guys are enjoying their off season, doing what they got to do.
Good for them.
And yeah, like we'll touch on sports when it gets to it. So that wraps up our sports takes and sports recap for this week. All right, guys. Now we're into our WWE wrestling section of this week. First, we're going to start off with Monday Night Raw recap real quick. First, we had the CM Punk and Gunther promo. It was a great promo. These guys were really good on the mic. They're confident. They're veteran superstars that know what to say, get to the point, and basically build that match towards SummerSlam. It's going to be an interesting match. We're going to talk about it later on in our predictions.
I feel like Gunther had like his same style promo where he was like, I'm going to, you can't even lace my boots.
Well, that's his whole gimmick,
I get it, but I feel like he needs something new to spice him up more. I feel like
it's hard to say that because it's Gunther. His character is just like he's better than you, and he will out-wrestle you and basically be the bully.
Yeah.
And it's hard for someone else to do something different because he's not someone where you can give him a character and be like a persona. It's hard.
Yeah.
Gunther's just going to do whatever he wants to do. And that's what, sometimes it works. Sometimes it might get stale eventually. But for now, I think it does work for him. So I think that's why for him to just take that role and just continuously be on this bully path of just being a better technician wrestler than you, it's going to work. So let's see how it plays out. But I do feel like what you're saying, like eventually it is going to get a little stale.
Yeah.
So hopefully they do switch it up. Maybe eventually we could see a face run for him. That might be interesting. But it's hard to even imagine him as a face because of how many like dickish things he's done.
Yeah.
And the way he just talks. It's hard to see him that way. But you never know. WWE might get creative with Gunther. They've done him right ever since he joined WWE because I know people feared in the beginning that they thought Gunther was going to be just this big jobber dude. But I'm glad that before Vince left, he even also saw the vision in Gunther, which was great. And Triple H just enhanced it even more, which was even better. Next, as always, every week we've been getting this Rusev and Sheamus thing. I think at this point, I think you said this, they got to stop fighting and just team up at this point.
They need to, this is not 2013, 2014, 2015 anymore.
Yeah.
Like, they need some, I guess, spice in their life.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Obviously, there's no Lana to,
right,
appease the masses, so to speak.
Right.
But they had a great match. They always will put on a great match.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of what next for them. Like, Rusev didn't really have a path, like I said previous episode. Sheamus, we just know Sheamus is just there just for the attention at this point. So they need to team up. Next thing is El Kaiser Americano. He gets called out by Dragon Lee. They eventually have a match with the American Navy.
They had a backstage segment, which was hilarious. You have Kaiser, El Grande Americano, who is German, speaking full-on Spanish, just roasting on Dragon Lee. I'm going to talk about Kaiser later in the show. He's part of my best things I saw this week.
Okay.
So that's why I quickly don't want to really go into that. I just want to talk about how that match was made. I think the match was... What did you think of the match?
It was a decent match.
It was just a regular match, whatever it is.
Match,
And then the other thing we could talk about is we had a whole storyline show of AJ Styles and Dominic Mysterio.
It was like a sitcom where there was so many things happening. AJ Styles you could see him praying in the background. We saw him bringing him a cake, saying to feel better.
We had a valet. He played a valet. He played a medical doctor.
Yeah, doctor. He basically. It was during a Judgment Day match, right? Yeah. And then Dom gets hit, and then they were asking for a doctor. All we see is AJ Styles come out and pretend to be a doctor, and then he runs off. But the match finally gets made official. Apparently, Dom is cleared now. We're gonna touch upon that when we talk about SummerSlam in a little bit. But it's about time. Dom hasn't fought for the title. He hasn't defended the title ever since he won it. Basically.
Yeah. Well. No, he has defended it, but it's just not as something that you can reimagine or can recollect of his. Basically, what I'm gonna say is he hasn't had a match where you can make it memorable for a defense yet. And I think this SummerSlam match with AJ, AJ Styles is one of the best workers still in the WWE. I think those two guys are gonna have a great match. We're gonna talk about it later.
Did you see? I don't know. I saw something on TikTok where it was he showed up in some luchador event.
That's what I'm gonna talk about in my best things this week. I'm gonna talk exactly about the AAA, what's going on there.
I got you.
So, let's talk about Sammy and Karrion Kross. They had another match, right?
And they're gonna fight again.
And then now it's made official for SummerSlam. I think that's gonna be the last match. I don't think there's much else to do after that. Most likely, Sammy's gonna win that match and move on and see what's next for him. Next, we had Stephanie Becker and Io Sky.
Yeah,
that was a good match.
Great possible because I know Stephanie Becker has a title match
at Clash in Paris.
Yeah, but it ultimately ended up in a place where
I think it got interrupted. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it got interrupted. I think Naomi came out or no, Rhea came out. Something happened.
Right. It involved basically the triple threat building. We're still building around that triple threat at SummerSlam. I think that might be one of the matches that steal the show, like they did at WrestleMania.
Yeah, so whoever wins that is going to fight Stephanie Becker at Clash of Paris.
Exactly. So that's what's pretty much another filler match, it kind of felt like. But pretty much, again, this show, next week's show, we're just building towards SummerSlam.
Well, it's just pretty much this week, Raw and SmackDown.
And then last we had the main event. We had...
it wasn't really a main event. It was just a showdown.
We had Roman Reigns and Braun Breaker. Basically, Roman Reigns cutting a promo, which we haven't had in a long time, reminding us how great he is on the microphone.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns is out there calling Paul Heyman a dumbass.
He was basically calling out Paul Heyman, saying that you went with this group, and you let me down.
Finally addressed everything after WrestleMania.
Yeah. And he called him a dumbass.
Yeah. And pretty much it's obvious that WWE wants to make that Roman Reigns and Braun Breaker match. That is going to be a high-level match or very high sought-out match whenever they do it.
Yeah.
But now on Instagram, we saw Roman Reigns offer the challenge of him and Jay versus Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. Yeah. God, that's going to get so confusing.
They're both Braun. They have Braun in their names.
But the thing is, we're finally getting that tag team match. It's going to be a good tag team match. We're going to have Roman and Jay working together versus these two new guys. And we'll talk about who we think is going to win in the SummerSlam predictions. That's going to be very interesting. But it's great to see Roman Reigns back on TV. He's just I hate to say this word, but he just is the definition of aura. He really is. anytime he's on the screen, anytime anybody sees him, you just attract attention to him.
Yeah.
And that was basically much the Raw recap. Quickly want to touch into NXT. One quick segment was Trick Williams and the Undertaker thing.
I don't understand the point of that.
I'm sorry. I'm an old school fan when it comes to seeing the Undertaker. I do not like seeing him on TV like this. It looks so goofy to me. Like, he is the dead man. Like, I don't like seeing him like this.
Do you not like the American Badass persona?
I'm not a fan. Like,
no.
Like, if you're gonna be gone, like, I know he does this podcast stuff now that they just pretty much like show on every like Raw. They basically like, oh, tune into the Dead Man podcast and stuff. But it's like, okay, cool, let's do that. But I don't want to see him on TV anymore. Like, Undertaker, what was the point even of having him on NXT? To boost the ratings or something? Like, I'm confused, but...
To push Trick Williams,
Trick, but like, Trick is doing stuff with TNA. He's doing his own thing. I don't think he needed that dead man stuff.
I agree.
Not sure why it was necessary, but it is what it is. Next, let's talk into SmackDown recap. We're going to quickly touch on SmackDown. SmackDown wasn't really an eventful show, to be honest.
But before we even do that...
Yeah.
Obviously, most of you have heard that Hulk Hogan passed away at the age of 71.
Yep.
It was a pretty, for most people, if you knew Hulk Hogan, the wrestler, he was probably
one of the greatest
of all time. Like, there's no debate about that.
And the thing is, like, it's hard to say it. Like, we know a lot of, like, exterior factors play into this. But for wrestling-wise, we want to touch on that. He's one of the greatest of all time.
He is one of the greatest of all time.
I can say that...
Definitely on my Mount Rushmore.
Right, and I could say that proudly because... Not only that he was the biggest star in WWE, he was also the biggest star in WCW when it existed. When they had the Monday Night Wars, he led the NWO. So you could say that he was the most selling character of all time as a face and a heel. Yeah. And no one could probably ever say that again. And that's just one thing that will always be lived in infamy is that Hulk Hogan definitely made a contribution to this wrestling world. And I know SmackDown started off with a tribute to him. They did the 10 bell salute, which is very big because they don't do that for a lot of people.
No, they did like a tribute video to him.
7 minute long. Yeah, it was a 7 minute long tribute video. Showed everything about him because I know a lot of new younger fans don't know anything about him. But we grew up towards where we saw him occasionally.
Yeah.
And we weren't around that time where we saw his prime. So I remember specifically, if you want to quickly touch on our favorite memories that we've seen him. I know I've seen a lot of clips and stuff in the past, but from what I've seen him, I think my favorite thing that I saw for him was when he was doing that feud with Shawn Michaels. That was my most memorable thing for me.
I was going to say I think it was the Great American Bash where it was Michaels and Cena, and they needed a third tag team partner. I forgot who they were fighting. And then Shawn Michaels was like, give it up for the immoral Hulk Hogan.
Right.
You see Cena like drop to the ground saying like, oh, thank God. You know what I mean?
I think I think that led into that feud.
Oh, yeah.
Where Shawn Michaels turned heel for like a month only. Yeah. Just to do a feud with Hulk Hogan. And then we're going to talk about his...
Obviously, we had like Hollywood Hulk versus Hollywood Rock.
That was probably the biggest match I think he ever had in WWE after his golden ages.
Yeah.
So like his later stages... he did the WCW run, and then he came back. Then he basically faced off with The Rock at WrestleMania. That match was insane. That was probably one of the best matches in WrestleMania history too. Yeah, Hulk Hogan, great wrestler, great contributor to the wrestling world. Person-wise, there's a lot of defaults.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that.
I don't want to talk about it, but I do understand why some wrestlers don't want to acknowledge it. And we've been seeing that hate online.
I saw like videos of like still shots of individuals and like the wrestlers, divas, or not divas, women's wrestlers.
Obviously, it's you're there to work. You have to be out there. If you're Triple H wants you to be out there. But you can't hide your emotions. And I know a lot of wrestlers were either okay with it or not okay with it.
You basically have to suppress them at that point.
Exactly. But I do understand the discourse that people have been having. But you do what you want with it. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But for us, we're going to only just talk about his wrestling perspective. And we do think that he should be revered in the wrestling world.
Yep, I agree.
And then we can quickly touch on Logan Paul had a promo with Jelly Roll. And then he invited basically Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre. They had a little brawl. It was obvious that Jelly Roll wasn't doing anything. Logan Paul was bumping around for him. Hopefully, that's not how the match is going to go at SummerSlam.
I think it's going to go like that.
You think it's going to go like that, where just Jelly Roll does a few moves and bumps around from him?
Yeah, it's mostly going to be Randy doing the work and Drew and Logan doing the
heavy
split
lifting,
the load for them, you know.
Yeah.
We'll see a Jelly Roll choke slam, a takedown,
or he did a big boss man slam. That was pretty nice. Well, that was all Logan, to be honest, but that's pretty much that for that match. Next, we had Alexa Bliss and Roxanne Perez.
Another filler match for the tag team titles.
Yeah, we saw Alexa get a little bloody. It was a nice little color to the match. We saw Charlotte backstage trying to cheer her up. Yeah. Pretty much leading to their teaming up together and taking on Roxanne and Raquel at SummerSlam. Next, we had Cody Rhodes. Okay. Cody Rhodes, I know. Okay, that I have to say this. We know that John Cena is not going to be on these shows until SummerSlam. So Cody Rhodes is trying his best to just keep this match somehow relevant because it is the main event of night 2 of SummerSlam. It's the biggest match that they have. It's hard to do it because you're building the match by yourself. So it's looking bad on Cody because he's just reiterating the same stuff. It's the same bad political promo like you said, but it's just we just got to get to the match at this point. Yeah. We got to get to it. Yeah. I'm tired of hearing these guys talk. Just get to the match because it's hard. If you can have promo battles, it'll work if Cena's there. He's just not there. And that's why it's going to make it much more difficult. But hopefully they get to it. And let's see how that match plays out. We're going to talk about it again in our predictions. And lastly, we had a main event. I'll let you talk about the main event.
Yeah, so the main event was actually a pretty cool main event. It was a tag team title match between the Wyatt Six and the LWO, which was Phoenix and Andrade, right?
They're not LWO. It's just Phoenix and Andrade.
So I apologize for that. It was a great match to begin with. Wyatt Six eventually ended up winning. But the thing was, it got really hectic and chaotic out of nowhere. All of the SmackDown tag team individuals, they all came out, started attacking everybody. It was like one of the best brawls I've seen this year.
Exactly. It was basically alluding to what people thought is going to happen. So I don't know if you know this, but SummerSlam this year is the 25th anniversary of the first TLC match.
Oh, yeah?
So they had to put something on this show to basically celebrate that 25 years of the TLC match originally with the Hardys. I think it was the Hardys, Team 3D, and Edge and Christian. Yeah. So now we have 3 teams. Let's double that up. We got a 6-man.
No, I mean that's 12-man.
It's 12-man.
12-man tag team match for the SmackDown tag team titles in the TLC match. Yo, this match, you're gonna see bodies everywhere. Yo, I think my man Montez Ford is gonna jump from the ladder. The Wyatt Six probably gonna do some crazy shit.
I think they might steal the show.
This might be the best match of the for both nights.
Yeah, I know. So
we'll talk about our predictions in a little bit, but what one? It's night 1 or night 2?
It's night 2. So it's gonna be crazy. Let's just jump into SummerSlam predictions. So pretty much SummerSlam is gonna be August 2nd and 3rd. It's literally next weekend.
Yep.
So basically, they build it to a night 1 and 2. It's going to be first ever in 2 nights. It's literally another WrestleMania at this point of how big the show is. So let's talk about night 1. So the cards did come out. We don't know what the order is, but we do know what the matches are. So let's talk about night 1. I'll let you talk about the first 2-3 matches. Let's talk about you could talk about the first 3, and then I'll talk about the next 3.
All right, bet. So we have the WWE Women's Championship match between Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill. I'm not gonna lie, this could go either way.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think I'm gonna go with Tiffany Stratton.
You think Tiffany's gonna retain?
She's gonna retain the championship.
I'm gonna agree. I think Tiffany does retain that title. It's gonna be
a good match.
I hope so, but see, that's the thing. Jade Cargill's very iffy.
Yeah.
Tiffany Stratton hasn't honestly done much in her run where it made this title reign memorable. Maybe this match could be, but it all depends on Jade. She's going to have to carry this match. But by not carrying it, I mean her dominance, the way that she wrestles, it has to be more prominent. And hopefully we see in that match, but ultimately we both do think Tiffany's going to retain. We can talk about the next one.
The next one is Randy Orton and Jelly Roll versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. Now, in terms of a wrestling standpoint, I want to go with Drew and Logan.
Yeah.
But simply because Randy Orton is Randy Orton and Jelly Roll, everybody's going to be rooting for them. Yep. I think Randy Orton and Jelly Roll is going to end up taking the match.
Exactly. I think these guys, we don't know what Jelly Roll is capable of. They have been saying he's been training in the Performance Center. So let's see what he's made of. Yeah. Let's see if he's really actually about this thing. But ultimately, yeah, this is going to be glorified for Jelly Roll. I think it's going to be Randy Orton versus Jelly Roll. I mean, Randy Orton and Jelly Roll versus those two guys. I think they're ultimately going to win as well. So that's pretty much for that.
Next match we have is the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships between the Judgment Day, which is Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez, versus Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. Now, I'm going to say this right now. Obviously, we're going to touch upon it a little bit later. I think this is going to be the downfall of the Judgment Day. I think they lose. I think they lose? Raquel and Roxanne lose the title to Alexa and Charlotte.
Okay. I'm going to go with them retaining, actually.
Yeah?
So I'm going to go with them retaining because I think ultimately it's going to have to lead up to somehow Liv Morgan playing a factor in.
I don't know. She's going to be out for a while, though.
Well, we don't know how long still. And the update is we haven't heard any recent update. So when we don't hear any updates, usually that means they're not too far away from coming back. So I think it's going to ultimately, they're going to win, I think, is Raquel and Roxanne, and then it might play a factor into Judgment Day, eventually imploding with Liv Morgan being played back into the picture. But I wouldn't be surprised if Bliss and Charlotte win it because people have been rooting for them. They have been getting over. So that one is a toss-up for me, but I do think ultimately Roxanne and Raquel retain. Next, we have Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross. For me, I think it's simple. Sami Zayn's going to win. Let him move on to whatever's next for them. And I don't know what happens with Karrion Kross after this.
I think Karrion Kross is going to win.
Okay.
I think he's going to sneak out the victory. Maybe WWE has something planned for him. Obviously, we know what Sami's all about. He's going to be a fan favorite.
So do you think that if Karrion wins, the feud's over? Or
I think so because...
But you think this is the blow-up?
Yeah. I think this is the end-all, be-all match. Yeah. And I think Karrion Kross comes out the victory. Maybe he moves on to something else, perhaps. But we'll see how it goes. He's always had that beef with AJ Styles, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. But
I think like if Kross wins, then he's got to go for like IC title or something. If Sami wins, at that point,
like I said, bro, there's really
very hard.
There's no route for him to go to, so I don't think that's why he should. Or he is gonna win.
Yeah. Then, but if Sami loses, what happens next? Then like I don't know what he does next.
Give him some time off.
Yeah,
he's technically hurt, so you know.
Let's see, but okay. Next we have most likely might be the co-main, which is Roman Reigns, Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed.
This is gonna be a very interesting match.
It's gonna be very interesting. We're gonna see Roman Reigns back in tag team action with Jey Uso. I think it's obviously gonna be a match where Jey Uso is taking most of the load. Roman's gonna come in for a hot tag, do his little spots, but ultimately, I think that the new team wins this.
You think Braun?
I think Braun and Bronson Reed wins this because you're pushing the new team.
Yeah.
You want them to make a statement. I think they win it because I think it sets up for the Braun Breaker and Roman Reigns match, which we might get at Clash at Paris, or we could get later on in the year.
Bad blood.
Right, but I think it's going to be to the point where I don't even see. Like I have a bold prediction. I think somehow Roman maybe gets pinned too. I think he takes the pinfall, and I think Breaker pins him. If you want to build a star and push him to the top, that's right there. You pin Roman Reigns in that match. You have Bronson Reed take out Jey Uso, and then why not you hit a spear,
passing of the torch.
Yeah, basically you hit him with a massive spear. We know how crazy his Breaker spears are, and let's see. I think the bad guys win this match.
Okay.
What about you?
I think I hate to bet against Roman and Jey, but. You know what? I'm going to agree with you. I think they end up, obviously they're going to end up pushing Braun Breaker eventually.
Yeah.
This will be just the start, you know? The main event for night one, what do you think?
All right, we'll talk about the big elephant in the room. Seth Rollins. We still have not heard anything from him, and in our minds as WWE fans, that's already a red alert. Like, what's going to happen?
Right.
We're going to have Gunther versus CM Punk. I think, obviously, these two guys can have a great match. But I do think, in my opinion, it is going to be a cash-in this SummerSlam. I think SummerSlam Night 1 ends with Seth Rollins curb stomping CM Punk, winning the title, bringing it back, which ultimately leads to Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed picking up a win just previously over Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, and your leader in this group, Seth Rollins, is the World Heavyweight Champion.
You think they're going to interfere in the match?
No, I don't think so. I think because at that point, if they interfere in that match, you're obviously setting up that Seth Rollins is coming back. I think you just Leave it alone.
You think
when both of these guys are to
Paul Heyman come out?
Yeah, and I think when both of these guys, Gunther and Punk, are on the ground, you hear the Seth Rollins music, reminisces from that WrestleMania win, comes out, wins the title. And the thing is, like, last time Rollins did this cash in, he was at a stadium. We're back at a stadium. I can definitely see him doing it.
In New York or New Jersey,
I can definitely see him doing it.
I'm going to... If I had to pick between Gunther and CM Punk, I'm going to go with Gunther. But because of the Seth Rollins saga, let's just say that, I think that's probably what's going to happen too.
Okay. But yeah, if we do not, I would be very shocked if we do actually not get anything happen. Then it's just a simple, I think Gunther beats Punk clean.
Okay.
But now let's get into night 2.
Which is going to be really jam-packed.
Jam-packed night 2. It's going to be the bigger night. Eventually, like recently, I thought night 1 was the bigger show, but they just added this match, which is why I think it adds to the top and takes night 2 over night 1. It's the WWE Tag Team Championship. We got Wyatt Six versus DIY versus Street Profits versus Fraxium versus Motor City Machine Guns versus Andrade and Phoenix. Car crash match. That is the best way I can describe it.
Bodies upon bodies everywhere. The whole shebang.
Yeah.
What you want in a TLC match, you're gonna see.
You're gonna get it from all these guys.
You're gonna get your money's worth.
And all of these guys in this match, they all can perform.
Yeah.
So I think the new guys are gonna win this. The young guys, which is Fraxium, I think they're gonna win this match. Which is Nation Frazier and Axiom. These two guys, they killed it in NXT. Honestly, they were probably the best tag team in the world when they were in NXT because of the amazing matches they were putting on. I think WWE gives them the chance to run with these titles, and what best way to put them and display them at SummerSlam in this match and winning the World Tag Team Champions?
I think the Wyatt Six are going to retain.
You think they're going to retain?
I think they're going to have like a longer title run. I think they're going to eventually do a thing with Fraxium, but that's going to be later down the line.
Yeah.
But I think the Wyatt Six, they end up taking it. I just feel like too short of a title run, yes. But like I said, I think I preached this to you. Like, what was the point in bringing them if you're not going to have some type of longevity with them?
I agree.
So I think they ultimately pull it out. It's going to be a banger of a match.
For sure.
But Wyatt Six, in my opinion, they're probably going to take it.
Okay, next we have the Intercontinental Championship. Dominic Mysterio and AJ Styles. I think it's going to be a match where Judgment Day is going to get involved. We don't have Finn and JD on the show. They're going to be involved in this match. I think ultimately...
Are they defending the title by any chance?
No.
Oh, okay.
So they're not on this show. So I think that Finn and JD, they're going to do their little ways to get Dominic, and I think he's going to retain this title. So that's what I think was going to happen with this match. What do you think?
I think Dom should win.
Yeah.
But do I want him to win? No. But ultimately, like I said earlier, I think it's gonna be a downfall of the Judgment Day eventually. Maybe this is a start. I would give AJ Styles another title run.
Yeah.
But we don't know. Like I want to see another match between him and John Cena, you know?
Right.
But ultimately, because of how long he's got left, I think they give him a title run.
Okay.
And I think eventually it's gonna be AJ Styles versus Karrion Kross.
Okay. So, like, my thing is, like, I do also want that AJ and John match, and I think you can't get that match at the end of this year without, if Styles has that IC title, he's not going to get that match.
No.
So I think they have to do that match before Cena's career is over. So that's why I'm ultimately taking Dom for that reason. Next, we also have the Women's Intercontinental Championship, Becky and Lyra.
It's going to be a no disqualification match.
Okay, yeah. So I think, obviously, these girls... solid, both of them. It's really good. Lyra has been coming up a lot in the last few months, showing how great she is as a wrestler. I think this is ultimately where Lyra wins the title, and I think she closes that chapter with Becky Lynch. What do you think?
I think so too.
Yeah,
she definitely deserves it. Obviously, she had the title, no?
She had it, yeah.
Yes, but she didn't really have I'm about longevity. When I mean longevity, I mean more than a month. You know what I mean?
I agree. Yeah.
So I think this is her opportunity to put her showcase her talents and be the wrestler that we know she is.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I think she picks it up from there.
Next
we have the United States Championship match between Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa. This is going to be a steel cage match. Like we mentioned last week, there's going to be some interference.
That's literally what a steel cage match is for.
There's going to be some type of... Somebody's going to climb over and go through the door or whatever.
We have Big Jim.
You know what I think is going to happen? I think somebody's going to go through the steel cage, like how Bobby Lashley flew in through the steel cage.
That?
Big Show in through the steel cage.
Okay.
Like, it just breaks apart. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. You
can see Fatu diving into the cage. His crazy ass.
As far as the winner, I think Solo retains, to be honest. Only because Jacob Fatu and Jimmy Uso, they don't really have like a storyline to build around for them to be a U.S. title, I guess, favorite to win.
Mm-hmm.
But Solo Sikoa definitely deserves a title run to have like a longer title run.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's going to be new bloodline members, possibly, perhaps,
so
waiting in the rears.
That's why I also think Solo's going to win. I think after the match, they might debut some new bloodline members or returning bloodline members. We still have Tama Tonga, who's not a peep. We don't know where he's at. I don't know if they have any other bloodline members that we're not even thinking of that they might show up. I remember when Tangaloa debuted, nobody ever thought of Tangaloa at that point.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised if we have a new bloodline members that show up or the returning. So, but ultimately, I do think Solo Sikoa retains and continues this bloodline feud as long as they want.
Yeah. They can go for years.
They can go for years. I'm pretty sure a lot of WWE fans don't really see an end to this. But next, let's get into what I think might also be a possible steal of show.
The triple threat match for the Women's World Championship between Naomi, Rhea Ripley, and Io Sky. Now, long story short, I'm going to go with Naomi.
You're going to think Naomi retains?
Yeah.
Okay. So, for me, we obviously had Evolution where Rhea and Io were putting on a show. They were putting on a great match.
One of the best matches of the year.
Yeah. It was definitely going to be one of the... If they had a clean match, like, and kept going, that could have been one of the best matches of the year, for sure. I think that since Naomi won this title Evolution, you kind of put all your marbles in her basket. At this point, you have to let her win and let her go on to do these shows where she's going to go on to Clash in Paris and do that show and probably face Stephanie Vaquer. It's hard to say that, okay, Naomi won the match, won the title, just to pretty much just to lose it, like, right away. Like, because I think a lot of people also probably picked that Rhea was going to win that title and probably face Io Sky again, probably at SummerSlam. But now it's a triple threat, which is basically they're kind of recopying what they did at WrestleMania, but replacing Bianca Belair with Naomi. But I think also I agree with you. I think Naomi does win this match only because like you cashed it in. You're giving her the run with it. Let her go on and basically carry this women's division. So I think Naomi does pick up the win. It might be like a sneaky way where Rhea probably hit her finish and then Naomi throws her out and steals the win. Yeah. I could see something like that.
You think Io takes the pin?
I think Io takes the pin. I don't think you pin Rhea Ripley.
No.
Yeah. And now let's get into night 2, the main event.
John Cena, Cody Rhodes, undisputed title.
Street fight.
We got to reiterate that. Now, what this means is there could be possible interferences by who knows? Anything could happen at this point. But this match barely had any build to it compared to the WrestleMania match.
Right.
We all knew that it was going to eventually be Cody and Cena. Yeah. Now, my thing is, we have this expectation that there's going to be some turning, either going to heel to face and from face to heel.
So that's the rumors right now, is that a lot of people are assuming that there's going to be a double face turn because obviously John Cena is ending this run at the end of this year. He's not going to retire as a heel. He's just not. A lot of people have been clamoring for Cody Rhodes to go heel, to switch up his character, basically give him new things. And Cody Rhodes himself has been talking about it a lot as well.
But he just interviewed his ex on the podcast the other day.
A lot of people were saying, like, oh, that's a heelish move right there. But for me, for one personally, I don't think there's going to be any Rock involvement. I don't think there's going to be any Travis Scott involvement, especially with the news with Travis Scott. I don't know if you heard.
Yeah, I heard.
Pretty much WWE's done with him because of his non-commitment to it. So I think that just literally fizzled out, and that kind of makes WWE look even worse at WrestleMania, that Travis Scott was the one that kind of helped John Cena and not The Rock, especially with Travis Scott not being a part of the story anymore.
I think Cody Rhodes wins, right?
You think Cody Rhodes wins? Okay.
But he goes heel somehow, whether that's perhaps a possibility citing from The Rock, I don't know. But there's really I know you said about the title, hitting him with the title.
Yeah. Maybe pausing when he does that, John Cena,
and then he laughs or whatever, smirks or whatever, and then he ends up winning the title. Maybe attacks him after winning the title, makes Cena the heel. But there's so many possibilities that we just don't know what could happen. You know, do I want interferences? Sure, why not? It makes the story a lot better.
Right.
You know? But if there's no interferences, I agree with the title, hitting him with the title. But I think Cody Rhodes, regardless of what happens, I think he ends up winning the title.
Okay. I actually am going to go with John Cena retaining. So I'm going to go with Cena retaining because I think that there's more to this. I think John Cena has a lot more opponents that he can face as still a babyface. So I think ultimately Cody Rhodes is going to win this title.
It's a matter of when.
When. I don't think it's going to happen again. I think we're going to get a number 3 match at the end of the year. So I think what the type of wrestler that John Cena is, I think he's going to be a person where he loses his final match because he wants to lose on his way out. I think that's where it happens. I think Cody Rhodes beats John Cena at the end of his run. So I think they're saving another match for the end. And for now, I think it's going to be a street fight. It's going to be a lot more interesting because John Cena has been having better matches ever since the WrestleMania match. I think hopefully he carries that momentum into this match where these guys maybe get a little color on them, each other. Let's see how it goes. I think somehow, some way, John Cena pulls out the victory. I don't know if it's going to be with help, but let's see how it goes.
Okay.
But I think John Cena retains, in my opinion. And overall, that is the SummerSlam card. It looks like a great card on paper. I'm pretty sure, like always, WWE delivers on these big shows. Let's just see how it plays out, and we're excited to talk about it.
Yeah, it's going to be a hell of a show, for sure.
Yeah, and I want to quickly touch on also for the show where it's going to be in New York, New Jersey. I think the last time that they had a big show in New York, New Jersey, it was a huge debacle. I don't know if you remember this, when they had WrestleMania with the New Jersey Transit at that time. The amount of people that was struggling to get home after the show was insane because a lot of
MetLife has a parking lot, so the parking lot's going to be packed.
But a lot of these
Transit's going to be packed.
Yeah, so like a lot of people, like if you're going, like we're not going to the show. But
this happened at the other SummerSlam a few years ago. Remember they had another event at MetLife? I want to say they didn't have any other event at MetLife.
I don't remember any other MetLife.
Like they had a MetLife.
I just remember specifically WrestleMania.
WrestleMania in 2019.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I'm talking about the debacle because of that, because it took people like 3 hours to get home because they were relying on NJ Transit. For people that are traveling to the show, I'm just gonna say, like, make sure you just figure out a good way to get back. Yeah. I wish we were going, but we're not going. Yeah. But it is what it is. We're gonna see it. It's in our backyard, and we're excited for SummerSlam, and we're definitely gonna talk about it on the prediction, on the results of next week's episode. That pretty much wraps up the WWE recap for this week, and now we're gonna get into what the best things we saw this week in wrestling or sports. Yeah. So I'll let you start off with what the best thing you saw this week.
All right. So the best thing I saw this week was Nick Kurtz. Now let me reiterate, Nick Kurtz. Right? Nick Kurtz. I'm sorry.
Nick Kurtz.
It's hard to say that name when you live in New York. But Nick Kurtz on the Athletics, he hit 4 home runs. Now,
damn.
Yeah, 4 home runs. Now,
as a rookie?
As a rookie, which I was about to say, he's the first rookie in Major League Baseball history to hit a 4 home run. That's
crazy.
Game. Now, if you look at all of the statistics when it comes to rare feats in Major League Baseball, there have been only a handful of 4 home run games, right? I think the last person to hit 4 home runs, was it Eugenio Suarez? I think Eugenio Suarez hit 4 home runs earlier this season. But there have been, I think, a total of, I want to say...
Was this all off of one pitcher? No way.
No. Okay, this was multiple pitchers.
He was just hot.
Yeah, he was just... But the thing is, it was in Houston, and if you're not familiar with the Houston Astros Stadium, they have like a high... like seating area, not like the Green Monster in Fenway, but it's pretty high up there. If you just hit it to that area, most likely it's going to go out because there's no reason for the outfielder to catch it over there. Yeah, which is technically a cheat code. Obviously, people complain about the short porch at Yankee Stadium. Yeah, we all know about the Green Monster at Fenway, but the Houston Astros Stadium, they have a wall over there where fans sit, and it's basically a home run once it gets it. He hit 3 out of his 4 home runs to that area. Yeah. Right? But it's still home runs regardless. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I think there have been only 24 home run games in Major League Baseball, and first by a rookie. There have been other stuff like, there's been only like less than 10, 20 strikeout games. Obviously, there's the perfect games, no-hitters, right. Immaculate innings and stuff like that. But hitting 4 home runs is hard. Yeah. Like, you barely could even get 4 at-bats. Yeah. But the fact that he got 4 at-bats, definitely the best thing I saw this week.
That's insane.
Yeah.
for me, the best thing I saw this week, I'm going to talk about two things quickly. I'm going to talk one sports-wise and wrestling. First, wrestling. So I want to talk about Dominic Mysterio. He made an appearance at AAA, which was, we obviously know WWE has a partnership with AAA right now. When he just showed up, he was so over. He's a heel, but AAA fans were just so excited to see a Mysterio there.
Yeah.
And Dominic Mysterio, I think he's one of the best heels in the business right now, still. It was also hilarious because we saw El Grande Americano also show up. He started attacking the Vikingo. So pretty much what they were building to Dragon Lee was also there. They're building to a fatal four-way match with Dominic Mysterio versus Vikingo versus El Grande Americano versus Dragon Lee for the Mega Heavyweight Championship, which is AAA's best world title.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing this at Triple Mania, which is basically AAA's WrestleMania. So a lot of talk have been happening where we don't know if Vikingo might even retain. We could get Dominic Mysterio.
He's champ right now.
He's champ right now. We could get Dominic Mysterio
dual champ?
As a dual champ in AAA and as IC title coming out of SummerSlam. Or we could get El Grande Americano winning the AAA championship. I think that's the move to go, to be honest.
I agree with you.
And I think that's the move to go because when Kaiser came out, he started cutting a promo in Spanish, full Spanish. He started singing in Spanish. The entire crowd started loving him. He started becoming a face. And what I think is going to happen is Kaiser is going to continue this El Grande run. Wait until Chad Gable comes back. Then we have heel Grande versus face Grande. Mask versus mask match.
Interesting.
And I think that Kaiser, he might really benefit from this run, which is it gets him on TV. People obviously know it's Ludwig Kaiser behind that mask, but he's speaking full Spanish. He's playing to the Mexican crowd. And I think he might have an opportunity to win a AAA Mega Championship and carry that AAA fucking brand. Yeah. It'd be insane to think about. But I think he might get over by doing this. And good for Kaiser because we weren't talking about him. Nobody was talking about whatever happened to him. We were even talking about, like, why are they not doing anything with him anymore when they gave him such a big run last year?
Yeah.
But this thing fell into his lap and he's running with it. And it doesn't help that he's speaking fluent Spanish as a German, which makes it even more funny. And then the other best thing I saw this week I want to quickly touch on is the Dallas Mavericks. Klay Thompson, back in the lab. There was a video that was posted where he hit 72 three-pointers in a row. I know Klay Thompson can do this. We all know Klay Thompson can do this.
It's a matter of staying healthy and being consistent to doing it.
Exactly. And I think that he's been putting in work. He's been training a lot. And I think because he really wants to make himself feel like he's a top player. Like he wants to be remembered as a top player. So I remember when the top 75 came out, he was snubbed from that list. Mm-hmm. And I know he was upset about it. I think what his plan is now is to obviously win a championship with the Dallas Mavericks and be basically a pivotal piece to that. If he is, and he does, I think that solidifies him to be into the next top 75 when it rolls around. Because Klay Thompson, in my opinion, is the second greatest shooter of all time.
Better than Ray Allen?
Better than Ray Allen.
Okay.
Nobody gets hot. I think Klay Thompson is the best three-point shooter if he gets hot. When he gets hot, he can't miss. Yeah. And I'm including Steph Curry in that because Steph Curry, when he gets hot, he doesn't miss, but he does also miss sometimes. We've seen him where he takes crazy threes and just chucks it up.
Yeah.
Klay Thompson gets to his spots, doesn't even need dribbles sometimes, has the better picture-perfect release compared to Steph Curry too.
He has the better catch and release and a set release.
Exactly. Steph Curry's better off the dribble and basically just getting into position off the ball.
Yeah.
Steph Curry nobody's better than him in that. But Klay Thompson, when he's in his spot, when he gets the ball, he can make it happen. And that was the best thing I saw for Klay Thompson and the Dallas Mavericks and in general in sports that week for me. All right, guys, that wraps up this week's episode in the Pinfalls and Playbooks podcast, episode 5. Next week, as a side note, Farden is not going to be here. He's going to be off in Philippines. So for me, I'm going to be here, guys. It's going to be a solo podcast where I'm going to talk about pretty much what happens quickly in the sports world, but mostly talk about SummerSlam results.
Yeah. I'll probably have some insight about it. I'll send it to Fayaz. We'll probably put it out.
Yeah.
Just pray for your brother, man. Philippines is going to be a great time.
It's going to be a great time. I hope you have fun. But that's it for this episode, guys. Next week, we also have the Sideline Heel Report.
Yep.
It's going to be just me doing my takes, so maybe I'll just sound off and see how it goes. But let's look forward to it. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. See you guys next week. Peace.